on the Hawkeye Sports Network from Learfield. Live from the Watermill Kitchen and Bar inside the Hyatt Regency in Coralville. This is Hawk Talk with Fran McCaffery. Brought to you by Iowa Corn. You might think Iowa just grows corn, but the truth is corn grows Iowa. Brought to you by Iowa's corn farmers of the Iowa Corn Growers Association and the Iowa Corn Promotion Board. Lennox and your local Lennox home comfort specialist. Made right here in Iowa since 1895. By your local Ford dealers. Iowa Lottery. Be a VIP with the Iowa Lottery. Visit ialottery.com for details. University of Iowa Healthcare. Changing medicine, changing lives. U.S. Cellular. The official wireless partner of the Iowa Hawkeyes. U.S. Cellular. Built for us. Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Hy-Vee. Score big savings with a Hy-Vee Perks membership. Mid-American Energy. Look up, look out for overhead power lines. Visit midamericanenergy.com for electrical safety tips. Midwest One Bank is the presenting sponsor of Hawkeye men's basketball. Visit MidwestOne.bank for empowered money management. Member FDIC. And by Wimmer's Meats, the official hot dog of the Hawkeyes. Here's the voice of the Hawkeyes, Gary Dolphin.
Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Hawk Talk with Iowa basketball coach Fran McCaffery. Gary Dolphin with former Hawkeye star and NBA champion Bobby Hansen alongside. It's another Monday night. We haven't been here in a couple weeks. It's good to be back after the holidays for Hawk Talk with Fran McCaffery. Coach will be joining us a little bit later on. And as is per usual, we'll have a special guest in the form of a Hawkeye player. We'll tell you about that in just a minute. But first off, Iowa thankfully returns home tomorrow night. The Hawks have won 9 of their last 10 meetings in Carver Hawkeye Arena between the opponent, which is the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Fred Hoiberg and the Huskers come to town and riding high, I might add, off a big victory over the UCLA Bruins Saturday. Of course, the Hawks played Wisconsin Friday and got whipped up there thanks to 21 three-point goals, 116-85. Fortunately, that hasn't happened but once or twice in the Fran McCaffery era. But, you know, you run into a buzzsaw on occasion, hopefully once like every decade. And Wisconsin had the Hawks' number, especially in the second half. I remind people Iowa was up 6, 28-22, as I remember, with about 8.5 minutes left to go in the first half. And then, kaboom, the Badgers dropped the three-point bombs more than once in the final 6 minutes. There was about a 6-minute stretch where Wisconsin went on a 19-2 run and got up double digits. And yet the Hawks were only down 11 at halftime, 54-43. But the second half, it didn't improve at all, as a matter of fact, as Iowa got down by 20, then 25, then 30. Hawks tried to make a couple runs, had a couple guys in foul problems, and it was ugly most of those 20 minutes in that second half. But you know what? You move on. The good news is it's one loss. You play 30 to 35 games each year, and you know, is it ever good to get beat by that? No. That amount? No, it isn't. And who knows better than Bobby Hansen? Third end of a few games, a few lopsided losses in his long career, both in the NBA and in college basketball. So let me turn to Bobby Hansen and say, what do you do? Well, it's 3 days later, you come back stronger than ever, hopefully.
Yeah, absolutely, Gary. You got to have a short memory in as an athlete, and I don't remember the games that were tough like that, you know, because you kind of delete them really quick and let it go. But you gotta, you know, it's tough the night after to sleep. You know, I'm sure the ride home for the guys was not easy for them, but you learn from it, and you learn what mistakes were made and what you have to get better at, and you go back to practice. Playing for a guy by the name of Jerry Sloan. He wouldn't let you put your head down too long. It was pick up your hard hat, put your hard hat on, grab your lunch pail, and show up at work the next day, because you know what? Nobody cares. You know what? Half the people are probably happy that it happened to you. So now you've got to get out there and prove them wrong and get after it. So opportunity here with 2 games at home this week. Nebraska, a very good team. beat UCLA, as you mentioned, Gary. Watch that game. They're tough. And then you turn around, you got Indiana on Letterman's night. So there'll be a bunch of Letterman there on Saturday night, and then you head out on a one-week road trip. So no time to worry about it, Gary. You got to pick it up and forget about it and learn and stay together. That's the main thing in a season that up to this point is you can't start to fracture a team. You got to stay together. You got to work with each other, for each other, and play for each other.
We've all run into opponents, especially on the road, where it's their night. They hit 21 threes, a school record. They set a lot of offensive records in that game. And most of the damage, I look at the encouraging part, Bobby, where the Hawks are up 6 with 8 minutes to go. They had a couple guys in foul issues. Peyton Sanford, Owen Freeman has struggled to stay on the floor for 40 minutes or close to it this year because of foul issues. And it's always going to come down to rebounding this year. And the Hawks were in the well rebounding once again. It was a deficit in the end. The final say-so, though, is they're down 11 just at halftime. And Wisconsin had heated it up the final 10 minutes of the first half from the perimeter. Now, what helps is they had a couple 7-footers who were playing well, Winter and Crowell. And then they kept feeding guys that were hot. And I mean, those were deep threes. So it's one of those nights, to your point, where you just say, okay, we got our butts whipped tonight. Let's move on. We got 21 games left.
Absolutely, and I'm looking at my run sheet right here. It was inside of the 12-minute timeout at about 10:39 or something it was here that Drew Thelwell hit a basket. And who played better than Drew Thelwell for the Hawkeyes in that
Phenomenal
game?
Performance.
Unbelievable. Yeah, I'm looking at his line. 9 of 14, 3 of 5 3-point shooting, all 4 free throws, 25 points, 4 steals, 3 assists, just 1 turnover. So that kid is a battler. He's a warrior. Type of guy you want on your team, when you go to war together. So at that point, it just kind of got away. Tanji hit a 3-point basket. Klesman back-to-back. Blackwell got going. So it wasn't just really one guy, Gary. It was 9 guys. I'm looking at the score sheet. 9 Wisconsin players hit a 3-point field goal in that game. So it's contagious.
It is.
Kind of like free throw shooting. If you start missing, other guys start missing. But you guys start making threes, man. Everybody feels confidence. And if you got the confidence on your side, you got a big leg up on the competition.
The first 10, 12 minutes of that game, Bobby, great balance. I mean, Josh Dix hit the first couple jump shots. He took, Peyton Sanford had a tough night. All great shooters have a rough night. Every now and then, more great nights than bad nights. But he was ably supported by his teammates. Josh Dix had a couple good. Thelwell, we already talked about Drew, and his 25 points, that's a season high for DT, and he had a phenomenal floor game, really, at both 3 steals. He was rebounding, he was distributing the basketball, assisting. So between Thelwell and Josh Dix, who was one of your players, picked to click. Freeman got loose for a couple dunks inside early. The balance was there. They were getting contributions from a lot of players, and then it fell apart.
Yeah, they were playing well, and Josh Dix was on fire early, and again, to the point of we need him to shoot more, be even more aggressive than he was in that one. But he was cooking early in that game, and then they got after him defensively and made it tough. But Elijah Dembele got in there just for 9 minutes. He's coming off the bench. Bryce Sanford had a good effort off the bench, 3 out of 6, 3 of 4 from the free throw line. He had 10 points, a double-figure score for the Hawkeyes. So Cooper Koch got in there a little bit. Good to see Cooper. We'll talk to him later in the show, but really good to see him getting after it and putting some time in there for the Hawkeyes. But yeah, I mean, again, this isn't a burn the tape moment or anything. It's just you learn from it and you get better. And you come here, you come back home, and you want to take care of home court, Gary, because everything you see, everybody in the Big Ten, you want to cover up your home court. You got to defend your home court and get what you can get on the road.
Let's not forget, a week ago tonight, the Hawks threw in 45 field goals against New Hampshire. So there's some balance there. And as you know, Bobby, life on the road in the Big Ten is never easy. So the Hawks sit here at 1 victory, 2 defeats in conference play way early. I mean, there's, 16, 17 more of these toughies coming. But the bottom line is you're 1-2 in the Big Ten, 10-4 overall. Got a net ranking of 56. you're not going to lose a lot of style points losing to Wisconsin in the Kohl Center, where they're almost unbeatable. So there's plenty to play for.
Absolutely, plenty to play for. And, again, you got to protect your home court. 2 games this week. We need a big crowd out there for both of these games. Got some quality competition that we're going to see. So hopefully get the fans out there. But we gotta get Peyton Sanford going. You got to pump him up, and he was just fighting. It seemed like himself toward the middle of the second half. There, I felt bad for him when he picked up, I think, his 3rd foul, and you could just see the frustration in the young man's face. And just needs to kind of calm down a little bit, relax, and let the game come to him. Maybe get to the basket like he did against Utah. I like the way he drove the ball in that game, got to the free throw line, and when they take that three-pointer away, don't just step back further and fire away, but attack, rip the ball through and attack. He's got good size. He can get to the rim and either get fouled or get a three-point play.
Brock Harding with 10 points, 5 assists the other night. Hawks had 5 guys in double figures up in Madison. So there was a lot of good to glean out of that 116-85 defeat by the Wisconsin Badgers, who by the way, play at Rutgers tomorrow night on the road, heading out east. The Hawks will head out west next week, but between now and then, as Bobby mentioned, 2 big home games against the Nebraska Cornhuskers and the Indiana Hoosiers. A lot of red and white, a lot of red and crimson making its way to Carver Hawkeye Arena this week. And you win a couple in a row and head out on the road again to USC and UCLA, and it can turn in a hurry. As for tomorrow night, it's a 7 o'clock tip-off here on the Hawkeye Radio Network. That means our pregame coverage begins at 6. Bobby, I watched most of the UCLA-Nebraska game Saturday evening. Man, I'll tell you, those Huskers are playing well under Fred Hoiberg. Not surprising. They roll into town at 12-2, 2-1 in the Big Ten, and a 34 net ranking. So Fred's got him playing well.
He really does, and almost, not an entirely new team, but you got a bunch of new guys. Bryce Williams is back. Raleigh Worcester was at Utah. He was injured when the Hawkeyes saw them out in Salt Lake City. Jawan Gary is a name that I remember, but Fred doesn't play a lot of guys. I think he's there at 8 or 9 is in his rotation, but they all play very well together. They play good defense. And they got a big guy inside, a couple big guys inside that are space eaters, and they're going to be rebounders in there. So you need everybody to get on the glass.
Bryce Williams is the man who leads that team. He's behind the steering wheel. The Huskers have won 6 straight games, and they're coming to Carver tomorrow night. Good seats remain. Log on to HawkeyeSports.com, call 1-800-IA-HAWKS, or walk right up to the ticket window and get a good seat tomorrow evening here on the Hawkeye Radio Network. Bring your headphones, bring your radio with you. All right, we're going to take our first break of the night. Of course, we're at the Hyatt Regency here in the Iowa River Landing. The Hyatt in Coralville, Watermill Kitchen and Bar is where we're located. You can come out and watch the show live each and every Monday night, typically during the week. There's a couple Wednesday or Thursday shows given the schedule for the Hawkeyes, but we're here typically on a Monday night. We got a good crowd here tonight. Jan Jensen and the Hawkeye Women's Show just concluded a few minutes ago. Each week, they're offering an extended happy hour here at the Watermill Kitchen and Bar, including $1 wings, $3 drafts and domestics, and $5 house wines. Come on down to Watermill Kitchen and Bar and join us for a great evening of Iowa Hawkeye basketball. A number of ways you can reach us tonight for our player guest, who is Cooper Koch. Cooper will join us after our first timeout, or for Coach McCaffery. You can reach us on Twitter at Gary Dolphin, on Facebook at facebook.com/Voice of the Hawks. The U.S. Cellular text line, thank you, U.S. Cellular, is wide open at 319-853-8344. 319-853-8344. U.S. Cellular, a proud sponsor of the Hawkeyes, wants you to make the most of today by choosing game day traditions first and scrolling later. U.S. Cellular, built for us. We've got an email location, an email address you can reach us to on Hawk Talk. That is hawktalk@HawkeyeRadioNetwork.com. Cooper Koch, the young freshman from Indiana and Illinois, will join us in just a minute here when we return on Hawk Talk with Fran McCaffery from the Hyatt Regency in Learfield.
People are having a hard time containing their excitement about the new Holiday Scratch and Instaplay tickets from the Iowa Lottery.
Holiday tickets? I love these!
Especially when they find out you can win part of over $1 million in second chance cash prizes when you enter any holiday ticket in the Iowa Lottery's VIP Club.
$1 million? Woohoo!
Yes, woohoo indeed. Cash prizes are coming to town from the Iowa Lottery.
Woohoo!
See rules at ialottery.com/VIP.
Hawk fans, be sure to visit and connect with these local business partners of the Iowa Hawkeyes, located in the Des Moines area. Car Law, Community Choice Credit Union, and Royal Flooring. At Community Choice, it's simply a mortgage. No hoops to jump through or limbo sticks to go under. Just a straight, easy path from point A to point B. It takes less than 60 seconds to get started at unpackyourmortgage.com. Loan approval subject to credit score and analysis. See Credit Union for details. Equal opportunity lender.
Hawk fans, stop in and visit the newly renovated guest rooms at Hyatt Regency Coralville Hotel and Conference Center, located in the heart of Iowa River Landing. Stay within walking distance of Extreme Arena, home of the Hawkeye volleyball team, as well as great restaurants, shopping, and scenic walking trails along the Iowa River. Hyatt Regency Coralville is also the home of Hawk Talk with Jan Jensen and Fran McCaffery. Come together at Hyatt Regency Coralville, where everything you need is right here.
I'm Nick Jackson. I play linebacker here at the University of Iowa. On the field, I stop the run, I make the tackle, I drop in coverage.
3rd down, 11. Straight back to pass to Sullivan. He's running for his life. Down he goes. That's a loss of another 6. Nick Jackson.
Off the field, I help my body's defense by choosing vaccines that are right for me. Ask your doctor or healthcare provider which vaccines are right for you.
A message from Iowa HHS.
You might think Iowa grows corn, but the truth is, corn grows Iowa. Corn can even fuel your drive to watch the Hawkeyes play when you choose Unleaded 88. It's a fuel that's cheaper, cleaner, and greener. Plus, it's homegrown, making Unleaded 88 the clear choice at the pump and totally worth the hype. So as you head to cheer on the Hawkeyes this season, don't just fuel up. Pump it up with Unleaded 88. Find Unleaded 88 at a station near you. Go to iowacorn.org/88.
Hello, Iowa. Here's a promise. Wherever you are in this great state, University of Iowa Healthcare is here for you, even if you never walk through our doors. Educating, caring, leading research, sharing our expertise with all. Because we believe that UI Healthcare is here to make all of Iowa better. UI Healthcare, changing medicine, changing lives. Visit uihealthcare.org.
Hey, welcome back to Hawk Talk with Iowa basketball coach Fran McCaffery, Gary Dolphin, Bobby Hansen. Our engineer-producer is Corey Sheets. And each and every week here early in the show before Fran arrives, we like to bring out a Hawkeye player, a current rostered player. Tonight is Cooper Koch, 6'8", 215-pound freshman from Peoria, Metamora Township High School. You've actually moved around Peoria, haven't you?
Yeah,
Indiana. Give us your geographical sketch here.
Lived in Peoria all my life until last year. Then we moved to Metamora for myself and my brother for basketball and school. But I played AAU basketball for Indiana Elite out of Indiana, so kind of traveled over there and been all through the Midwest.
So I think for our audience that doesn't follow AAU basketball, when you say you played for Indiana, did you move and live in Indiana then, work out in Indiana, or play, or you commuted?
No, we were actually different than most AAU teams. We would only practice right before the big tournaments. We practiced like 2 to 3 times every year. We just kind of went out and played, and we had a pretty solid team.
Give us some of your teammates and where they are now.
Flory Badunga, he's at Kansas. Travis Perry, he's at Kentucky. Colin White, he's at Ohio State. Raleigh Burgess, he's at Purdue. And we had some other teammates that are at like IU Indiana and like Evansville and stuff like that.
Programs that have been fairly successful down through the years, Bobby.
Hey, where's Metamora at? Is it in Peoria area?
No, it's a little bit east of Peoria, about like 15, 20 minutes.
Okay, but you're still in the
you're still close
Peoria
enough
area there. There you go. Yeah. When did you start playing basketball, Cooper? When did you learn?
I don't even know. Probably as early as my dad could get a ball in my hands, probably.
Yeah. Your dad, JR, was a wonderful player here for for the Hawkeyes. And,
yeah, from what I've heard.
Oh, yeah, he's a heck of a player.
Don't rub it in.
No, he got drafted by the Knicks, I believe, if memory serves me right. Yeah.
1999.
99, there you go.
Saw JR the other night up in Madison, and no, JR was a terrific player. He fit perfectly in Dr. Tom's style or system. What I remember most about JR was, Bobby, he at the front of that press. Was it a 1-2-2 that Tom played?
Yeah, it was full court.
It was full court, yeah.
Whatever it was.
And JR with that long wingspan, he deflected more passes than you right now in your young career, but I know you'll catch him.
I'm trying.
You haven't watched any old 16-millimeter film of him?
Not from college. I've seen some tapes from overseas and VHS tapes, but none from college.
You know, Bobby, JR had the right attitude. He never really opened up verbally, but, man, when you put him on the floor, he got after you.
Oh, absolutely.
He didn't mind throwing his weight around.
He did, yeah, no doubt about it. They had a good team. I mean, I'm trying to think of the guys. Dean Oliver, I think, was part of that team. If it was 99, that was a Sweet 16
Kent McCausland.
I think, Kent, yeah. You bet. So they had a heck of a team. That's right around the time I started doing radio with Gary, and I started doing it. So what I remember about your family is your grandfather and grandmother.
Really?
Being at all the games.
Yeah.
I mean, being down in Peoria, there'd be a snowstorm going on, and he had to be at work at Caterpillar, I think, early for the next shift in the morning, and he would make that drive. I mean, that's dedication there from Grandpa, and it's good to see him at the games now. It's been a long time, and I had to do a double take when I saw him in the tunnel. A couple games ago, but if he's listening, it's good to see him.
He doesn't quite look like my dad, but I know he makes it to all the games back in the day.
Yeah, unbelievable driving up there. What is that?
I-80?
80.
Not sure.
No, wait a minute. You're talking about 74 that runs through Peoria?
Yeah.
Is that
74?
And it runs into 80, obviously, which comes over to Iowa City. I was listening to Fran's press conference today. He said the guys are fine. They bounce back. They've had good practices. How about you after Friday night?
Yeah, it was a basketball game. The way some people have put it is there will be a game the year where you do everything right and you're going to win no matter what. And there will be one game where you do everything wrong and there's nothing you can do to win. And Wisconsin had the perfect game and we had the bad game, and it looked really bad. But I know the guys have bounced back, and we're ready for Nebraska tomorrow.
And you're up 6 beyond the midway point of the first half, down only 11 at halftime. I say only because of the way they were throwing them in from Lake Mendota downtown. And you guys not only had to feel good at halftime, but even coming out of that game, what's the conversation like among you and your teammates?
Just stay positive. We know that we're a better team than what we showed, and we got to pick up some stuff defensively and rebounding, but we're confident that we'll put it together.
So how do you improve rebounding without getting bigger, I guess? I mean, is that a mindset that you got to go after the ball, do better blockouts? What is it?
I think it'd be better blockouts. We got to hit before they can get close enough, so then it gives our bigs and everybody else time to crash in and get the ball.
You're playing a team the other night with 2 7-footers. They got a 6'9" guy. They had size. How do you counteract? I mean, you're 6'8". You're, 215, 220.
Yeah.
There's a way to do that, and I like what you said there about positioning yourself.
Yeah, they're really big, and Corral likes to post up deep and then goes into his moves, and Winters kind of is more on the perimeter, but you got to have pressure if they have the ball on the perimeter so they're not able to just throw it over the top to each other, which we didn't have as much on against Wisconsin, but yeah.
How about Nebraska tomorrow night now? Your first crack at Fred Hoiberg and the Huskers, who are playing awfully well. They've won 6 in a row.
Yeah.
What's key tomorrow night?
They're a really big defensive team, really aggressive. They're really over and help side, so we got to be able to make skip passes on offense, drive the closeouts. And then on defense, we got to be able to guard their stuff. They got a lot of sets that they run, and they really take it down to the last 5 seconds of the shot clock, so we got to be able to hold 25, 30 seconds of defense.
That sounds like Fred Hoiberg to a T, Bobby.
Yeah, that's what I saw yesterday watching that UCLA game. They were very patient, and yet they attacked you off the dribble. So what has surprised – I ask the freshmen this every time. What in this college game has surprised you the most, if anything?
There's a lot, but I would say just the defensive intensity that you have to play with. It's a whole different level than from high school because some nights you're on small dudes, some nights you're on big dudes, but in college, you got to bring it every night, or else you're going to get scored on. You're going to get taken out.
Got to be a multi-positional player. There is no such thing as, okay, I'm a forward or I'm a center or I'm a big guard, right?
For sure, especially in the defensive we play, switching and trapping, you got to be able to guard 1 through 4, 1 through 5 at times.
You know, Friday night aside, I think the 1-2-2 has been very effective this year, don't you?
Yeah, especially in games like Washington State, we were able to turn them over. They were really big momentum swingers in games.
Washington State, Utah helped too, especially in that second half.
Yeah, especially Utah. Big games like that, which we got to hopefully carries into Big Ten season.
Indeed. Of course, you're back home now at Carver for the next 2 games before heading to the West Coast. This is a big week.
Yeah, we got to get these 2 games against Nebraska and Indiana, and then go out to the West Coast and hopefully do well out there.
What do you hear? You want to be a professional player, I would assume, when you get done here, whatever that time is here at the University of Iowa, and continue playing on?
That's the ultimate goal, play. Hopefully get drafted, and if not, find a way to get overseas and just play for as long as I can.
Just carve a place out on anybody's roster, my man.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
Cooper Koch, our guest here, Hawkeye freshman. You talked about the defense at this level. College life, living away from home for the first time. What's been the biggest adjustment for you socially, which plays into your game? Because, I mean, you want to be good in the classroom and on the floor, but what's been the biggest adjustment for you so far in the few months you've been in town?
I'd say just not seeing my family every day and having to call them and being away from home. It's been a little hard. It was hard at first over the summer, but having teammates that I see, like Trey and Jacob, seeing them in the dorms, walking to class together, it definitely helped grow those friendships and make it more like a homey vibe.
What sold you on Coach McCaffery and his style of play, and obviously the staff, Matt and Sherman and Courtney, they're all a big part of your life now, fatherly figures. What sold you on? You could have gone to a lot of colleges. What sold you about the Hawks?
I think growing up as a Hawkeye and seeing just the way they play and the style of play, how he's developed a lot of players, gotten them to the NBA, it's definitely intrigued and caught my attention. And he's just a great guy, easy to talk to, so who wouldn't want to play for a coach like that?
Good point. Coop, before we let you go, let's go to Facebook. Got a question from Doug. Cooper, has he watched his dad's game at Kansas in 1998? That might be my most memorable game as a Hawkeye fan. Iowa down by 18, had 31 turnovers. You didn't need to throw that in there, Doug, but since you did, and Iowa won. Tom Davis, Bobby always told us, we're going to turn you over more than you turn us over. Now, maybe that wasn't the case that night, but what I remember about that game, it ended Kansas. Roy Williams
64
was the head
games.
68 games.
68
game home winning streak, Cooper Koch. And your dad, and I remember McCausland come out of the break at halftime. Kent nails like 4 or 5 threes. Was Settles on that team? I'm trying to remember. Dean Oliver. We had some studs on that team, and the Hawks roar back to beat Kansas in the famed Fog Allen Fieldhouse. I know you've watched that place a few times on TV.
Yeah, I've actually been there. I went to a game a couple years ago, but I've never watched the game, but I know my dad has told me a lot about it. He never mentioned that they had 31 turnovers. So
that's another great comeback in Hawkeye history, man.
It was.
At a story arena like that.
And Kansas, as usual, had a great team, great personnel but that was I'm often asked what's your greatest football memory of play-by-play and your greatest basketball memory play-by-play. That one, if you're just talking, I got a lot of great Big Ten memories, but if you're just talking a game, that one is right at the top for what it meant to in terms of basketball history.
Knocking them off, would you say? 68 straight games there. They did not think Iowa was going to get them in that one, and then to get so far behind, for those guys to fight back and to win that game, it's just phenomenal. And then I think it was another one was maybe that same year, Gary. I don't remember the dates anymore, but when the Hawks got to the Sweet 16,
that was a Sweet 16.
Arkansas, when they knocked out in Denver at that altitude.
Coach Richardson, 40 minutes of hell, they called it. With Arkansas, they had just won the national championship.
Dean Oliver fighting the flu, and the way they gutted that out and ended up losing a close one to Connecticut down in Phoenix, eventual national champion in that one. So I think that might have been that same year.
Settles was on that team. Duez Henderson, Ryan Luersman. Dean Oliver, of course, Kent McCausland, Kyle Galloway, I remember, hit a deep corner jump shot in that game. And Oliver Dino made like 6 straight free throws in the final 35 seconds. The Hawks were able to. So there's your little trip down memory lane with J.R. Koch. Well, Coop, we'll see you tomorrow night over at the arena. Great of you to stop by tonight. Appreciate it. Enjoy the prime fare here off the menu at the Hyatt Regency and their Watermill Kitchen and Bar. It's good food. I'm sure you've been here before. Okay?
Yeah, it's great.
All right, good to see you, man. Thanks for coming by.
Thanks for having me.
Cooper Koch.
Thanks, Coop.
Hawkeye freshman. Fran McCaffery going to join us in a minute, the head coach of the Hawkeyes. We'll talk about Fran's fondness and affection for Cooper and this team as we move forward in Nebraska. Tomorrow night, it's a 7 o'clock tip, 6 o'clock pregame show here on the Hawkeye Radio Network. We're brought to you tonight by Wellmark Blue Cross and Blue Shield. They know that quality coverage takes a great team. And with a Wellmark individual and family health plan, you'll get the coverage you need with the doctors you want. Find the right plan for you at wellmark.com/covered. And we're back to welcome in his namesake show. Coach McCaffery's with us right after this pause on Hawk Talk with Coach McCaffery from the Hyatt Regency in Learfield.
Tournament Club of Iowa, designed by golf legend Arnold Palmer. TCI is his only signature course in the state. TCI is a public course offering a challenging yet enticing experience for golfers of all levels and is managed by Kaler Golf. Cap off your round with breathtaking views and a delicious meal at the TCI Bar and Grill. Looking for a unique setting for your wedding party or outing? Look no further than the newly renovated clubhouse at TCI. Visit tcofiowa.com to book your tee time today.
At U.S. Bank, when they say they're in it with you, they mean it. Not just for the good stuff, the grand openings and celebrations, although those are pretty great, but for all the hard work it took to get there, the fine-tuning of goals, the managing of cash and workflows, and decision-making. They're in to help you through all of it, because together they're proving day in and day out that there is nothing as powerful as the power of us. Visit usbank.com to get started today. Equal housing lender, member FDIC, copyright 2024, U.S. Bank.
At U.S. Cellular, we believe in having healthy relationships with our phones so we can have better relationships with each other. Introducing US Mode, a way to set your phone for less distraction and deeper connection. So dinner can sound less like this and more like this.
What'd you learn today?
The sauropod was the tallest dinosaur ever.
Oh my goodness.
Visit U.S. Cellular in-store or online, and we'll help set your phone to US Mode, even if you're not a customer. U.S. Cellular, the 5G network built for us. See uscellular.com for details.
Hello, Iowa. Here's a promise. Wherever you are in this great state, University of Iowa Healthcare is here for you, even if you never walk through our doors. Educating, caring, leading research, sharing our expertise with all. Because we believe that UI Healthcare is here to make all of Iowa better. UI Healthcare, changing medicine, changing lives. Visit uihealthcare.org.
Time now for the Wellmark Blue Cross and Blue Shield Health Coverage Report. When you enroll in a Wellmark individual or family health plan, you get an HMO network that includes over 32,000 providers. Plus, you get support from a company that's been serving Iowans for 85 years. Now, those are some impressive numbers, and that's health coverage you can feel confident in. Find the right plan for you at wellmark.com/covered. Enrollment ends January 15th.
I'm Wyatt Black, defensive line, Iowa. On the field, I take on double teams, stop the run, and sack the quarterback.
Sullivan now runs for his life, and he's obliterated by Y.A. Black. Here's the snap, the spot.
Yes,
and it's blocked.
Kick is
Don't touch it. Don't touch the ball. Hawks get it back. Y.A. Black, that man, what a momentum shift there.
Off the field, I help my body's defense by choosing vaccines that are right for me. Ask your doctor or healthcare provider which vaccines are right for you.
A message from Iowa HHS.
It's the Hawkeyes and the Nebraska Cornhuskers. A border battle tomorrow night over at Kinnick Stadium at 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock for the pregame show here on the Hawkeye Radio Network. Gary Dolphin alongside Bobby Hansen. Head coach Fran McCaffery now joins us from the Hyatt Regency and the Watermill Kitchen and Bar. They've got specials each and every Monday night during Hawk Talk this basketball season. Coach, short turnaround Friday night to tomorrow night. Not that short, but a short turnaround. And, you know, I learned a long time ago when you're on the road and you get beat soundly, especially in that second half, the best thing you do is get right back out on the floor. Not only practice, but you can't wait for the next game.
Yeah, and they were very professional in their approach after that game. You know, we lost that game at the end of the first half. You know, they scored 12 of the last 14 possessions. We were quick shooting the ball when they were on a run. You cannot do that on the road. And then, you know, in the second half, they caught fire, as we all know. They made a ton of threes. So we learn from it. We go back to work, and we get ready for the next one because everybody in this league is really good.
You bring up a great point. The Hawks are up 28-22 with 8:44 to play in the first half. They go on a 14-2, ultimately a 19-2 run.
Yeah, you can't give up a 19-2 run on the road.
What's going on there? Take us through that last.
That's why I say we're quick shooting the ball. Like you got to keep them on defense. You got to score. You know, we're jacking up shots and they're running a fast break and scoring. So, you know, 6-2 becomes 8-2 becomes 12-2. And that's what happens. It snowballs.
Fran, is that something that you correct with film work and then go out on the floor?
What's disappointing is we talk about it ahead of time. Yeah. Like that is the cardinal rule of playing on the road. You do not quick shoot the ball when the other team's on a run. So you can talk about X's and O's and how we're guarding ball screens and how we're rebounding, but it's all about the anatomy of the game and understanding that. And we did a very poor job. You know, and I'm not saying, when I say we, that's everybody. You know, I could have taken 2 timeouts. You know, I look up sometimes and it's like I'm thinking about taking a timeout, but I got a timeout coming in 40 seconds. I don't want to burn it because we might need it at the end of the game. But, you know, at that point, I probably just, hey, guys, like, you know, let's remind each other that, you know, we got to work because we were scoring pretty easily. That's why we were up 6. Mm-hmm. But then, you know, we missed a couple shots and we weren't getting to the glass, and they started cooking.
A couple positives there. Josh Dix early, Drew Thelwell the entire game. I thought
they were both tremendous.
Best players on the court. Yeah,
they were both tremendous. You know, I want Josh to be more aggressive. He was early. They started changing the ball screen coverage on him, and he's just so incredibly unselfish. He just gets rid of it and he moves the ball. But I would like him to just continue to be aggressive regardless of how they're playing him.
Fran, it was evident Peyton Sanford was very frustrated. A 1 for 9 shooting night. I'll bring that out of a great shooter. But
I think he made his first shot, too.
You know what? You got a better memory than I do. But what, if anything, was Wisconsin? I'm sure that was part of the quick shooting.
He had really good looks. And that's why he was frustrated, because he typically makes those. You know, we ran an out-of-bounds play for him. He read it perfectly, was wide open, didn't go in. He did one in transition, hit him in rhythm, in and out. You know, I think in some ways he puts way too much pressure on himself because he's also a guy that affects the game in a number of different ways. He rebounds, he handles the ball. I mean, he fights you on the glass. He makes plays. I mean, I thought the Utah game in particular, he was great off the bounce, making plays. And that's what he needs to do. He just can't put all the pressure on himself to make every three-point shot when he's open. He's not going to do that. He's going to make a good percentage of them. But, you know, maybe I don't remember specifically, you know, did he take any quick ones in that stretch we were just talking about? I know we did as a team. I can't remember exactly what he did.
Coach, do you put your arm around him after the game or today at practice, yesterday at practice, and just say, we need you to relax, oh man, you're my guy?
Well, you know, I've had that conversation with him many times. The thing about him is he just has an incredibly high standard for himself. And you know, I just keep reminding him, like, you know, you're doing great. We love you. Just keep playing well. Just keep playing hard. And you know, you're not going to make every shot. And understand how teams are playing you. You know, they're playing him differently now than they ever have. You know, he had a lot of other guys around him. Now he's the guy. He and Josh and Owen. So, you know, just keep playing the game the right way. He'll do that.
Coach, let's go to email, or you can reach us on the U.S. Cellular text line, too, at 319-853-8344. Steve in Cedar Falls. Coach, I'm impressed with the play of Drew Thelwell and wondering if you can address his play specifically and what upside you see from him as his basketball career continues into the future.
Well, he's playing extremely well. I mean, he got here. Everything's new, and he's playing the point, so we haven't played the point. We haven't played the off-guard position, and we knew he could shoot the ball. He's shooting a good number. He gets to the rim coast to coast. He gets to the rim off ball screen action. But he plays defense, and he plays both ends, and he sustains effort. But he's a veteran, experienced guy that has great basketball IQ and affects the game, whether he's at the point or whether he's at the two spot. And we're just thrilled we have him.
That was evident the other night. 4 steals, career high, season high, three assists, 1 turnover in 32 minutes of basketball, and a season high 25 points. He's the full plate.
Yeah, he is, and that's what we need him to be. Especially since we're starting the small lineup. So we need him to get on the glass. We need him to guard guys that are bigger than him and compete the way he does.
On Facebook, Doug says, Coach, sorry if this is a dumb question, but what is your philosophy on defending ball screens from hedging, fighting over, or through, or switching? What do you want them to do on a ball screen? Thank you, and go Hawks.
Yeah, we typically hard hedge and go between. But we've changed it. We've gone flat shadow. We've gone switch. We haven't had a lot of success with the ice. We've done it. But, sometimes the hedge guy's a little bit late. And, when if you're hedging, you got to tag the roll. And sometimes we depending upon where the other players are, it's hard to get there. But, we typically hard hedge, go between, and tag the roll.
Coach, terminology is different all over. Can you explain hard hedge versus just a regular hedge?
Well, you're stopping a dribbler.
Okay, you're jumping out there.
So sometimes, Owen might be late, depending upon what happened right before the ball screen. So that can be problematic. And sometimes you get dragged a little too far. That happens to him sometimes. But, you're stopping a dribbler from getting downhill. That's what that means.
It's a hard edge. Okay.
Yeah.
On Twitter, Jim wants to know, Coach, are you exploring one of the new NIL tournaments for next year? How do you get invited to one of those? I guess would be my question.
Yeah, that's all new, and we're trying to get in those. Yeah.
Okay. There you go, Jim. Wilson wants to know, Coach Fran, how do you adapt your coaching strategies to meet the evolving dynamics of college basketball?
Well, I think there's certain absolutes. You can't just change everything that you do and everything you've always done. You have to have certain standards of expectation of how you compete, how you prepare, how you act on and off the floor, what kind of teammate are you, how are you in the locker room. Now you have everybody getting paid, so that's a little bit different. And all the stuff that you hear about, how much this guy's making, how much that guy's making, and that's the priority. Now you have agents in their ear instead of their coach. So it is a changing dynamics, like the question was asked. But I still coach them up the same way. We prepare and practice. We work hard. We pay attention to load management so we don't run them into the ground. We don't treat them disrespectfully, scream and yell at them because we lost a game or one guy doesn't run back on defense. No, we hold them to certain standards. We hold them accountable. They know that, but it's done in a respectful way. And that's not changing.
Good question, good comment, Wilson. Billy is in Adele on Twitter. Happy New Year, Coach. Halfway through the season now at 10-4, how do you evaluate the performance so far overall? And what are you most encouraged by, and what are you most concerned about?
Yeah, I think we've handled a difficult schedule well so far. Obviously, the other night was not a good effort on a number of different levels, but every other game, we've competed well. We had one loss earlier where we had a couple guys were injured. We've had guys miss games, but we've had a lot of different guys contribute, and that's going to have to continue. We've got to continue to be, I've said we're a deep team, we've got to continue to be deep and get contributions from a lot of different people.
Let's take one more before we have to take a break. Randy's here in Coralville. As you know, Nebraska's coming off a home victory over UCLA on Saturday. That's 20 straight home wins for them. What can your team do specifically to prepare for a hot team like the Huskers coming into Carver tomorrow night? They've won 6 in a row.
Yeah, you know, it's not like you're going to treat the game differently because they've won 6 in a row. You're going to treat them the way they are because they're really good. They have really good players. They have an old veteran team. They have a ton of transfers, guys that are 23, 24, 25 years old. I mean, Bryce Williams is playing as well as anybody in the country right now. You know, and quite honestly, he's not somebody that people talked about. They should have been talking about him before the season started, but he's a pro. He's a first-team all-conference player. But they're big, they're physical, they're old, and they play really good defense. They rebound well because of their size. I mean, this is probably as big a team as we'll play, and that says a lot because we played Michigan, who starts 2 7-footers. You know, so they have a 7'1" guy, a 6'10" guy, 6'7", 6'6", 235. Both of those guys are fifth-year guys, the wings, and, the big guys as well, except for Burke. And then, their point guard is a veteran guy. He was a starter at Utah until he got hurt last year and he transferred to Nebraska.
And who's playing harder than Sam Hoiberg on the floor?
He affects the game in a lot of ways, but he's not a one-trick pony. It's not like he just plays really hard. He affects the game with how hard he plays, but he affects the game because he's knowledgeable about what's necessary at any given point in time. And if he gets fouled, he makes his free throws, and if he's open, he makes a three, and if he cuts, he scores, and if he drives and you close on him, he hits his teammates. He makes the right decision. He makes the right plays. So, in the beginning, and I used to give Fred a hard time because, he was a walk-on and he didn't play much. And I said, man, you better give that kid a scholarship. He's really good.
He's not bad.
I said, you're not going to be allowed in the house.
He had a couple of huge steals and deflections at the end of that
but,
game.
But he's done that a lot.
Oh, man.
He's done that a lot. Yeah, he did that a lot last year. He did a lot the year before. That's 2 years ago is when he started really having a solid spot in the rotation. And he earned that.
He reminds me a lot.
And Fred really made him earn it. And I think it benefited the team and it benefited Sam.
Coach, tell me about the big guy inside. I was watching him yesterday, and he's a big space eater. He doesn't score a lot of that, but he's just a big body.
He's a load in there. He rebounds. He's physical. He screens, catches the ball and dunks it, and then rebounds both offensively and defensively. But they bring Andrew Morgan in, the veteran guy from North Dakota. He could easily be starting. Burke is a transfer from Buchachel. He's from Turkey, but he transferred from UCLA. But Andrew Morgan is playing like a starter, even though he doesn't start. Same thing with Esigian. Esigian is playing like a starter, shooting the ball really well, and is not starting. But you got guys like Gavin Griffiths, transfer from Rutgers, who's not even playing much.
Yep, saw that today.
Connor Esigian, who started at Wisconsin.
He was on the all-rookie team in our league 2 years ago.
Yes, he was. Bryce Williams leads a trio of Huskers in double figures at almost 19 points a game. He's shooting 50% from the field, Fran, to your point, 41% from three. He can fill it up from anywhere.
The dude's a pro. No question about it. And he'll be in the league a long time.
The Huskers are second in the Big Ten and 16th in the country in field goal percentage defense, 38%, third in three-point defense at 29%. What do they do defensively that impresses you?
They load to one side. They load to the ball. They keep you on one side. They ice everything. They double the post from the baseline side. There's no secret, but they do it well, and they do it very physically. So, you just got to get used to playing against it.
Yeah, that's a veteran team, to your point. All right, we need to take a break here, Coach. We'll come back with Fran McCaffery and Bobby Hansen. I'm Gary Dolphin. This is Hawk Talk with Coach Fran McCaffery. Iowa, Nebraska tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. 6 o'clock pregame show here on the Hawkeye Radio Network. We're sponsored tonight here at the Hyatt Regency by Iowa Corn. Throughout the Iowa Corn Cyhawk Series, Iowa Corn promotes honest, hard-working values that are uniquely Iowan. Thank you to Iowa's corn farmers who are getting ready to till the soil again here in just a couple months when it's time to spring plant. Iowa's corn farmers lead the nation in corn and ethanol production, feeding and fueling us all. Go to iowacorn.org, iowacorn.org, and learn more. And we're brought to you by University of Iowa Healthcare, here for you no matter where you are in the state, changing medicine and changing lives. For all of Iowa and beyond, visit uihealthcare.org. Back to the Hyatt Regency and the Watermill Kitchen and Bar in just a minute with Hawk Talk and Coach McCaffery from Learfield.
How do you become America's best-selling brand? Let's break it down. Innovative tech means smarter and safer driving. Intelligent all-wheel drive will keep you ready for anything. And built Ford tough trucks will always get the job done. Plus, come into your local Ford store today and get super low APR financing, big cash back, and great lease offers on Ford's full line of cars, trucks, and SUVs. That's Ford, and that's how you become America's best-selling brand. Sales claim based on calendar year sales.
Hawk fans, be sure to visit and connect with these local business partners of the Iowa Hawkeyes, located in the Des Moines area. Car Law, Community Choice Credit Union, and Royal Flooring. Facing a criminal charge or complicated family law situation, Carr Law Firm has the trial experts you need. As experienced trial attorneys, we understand how much is on the line. Go to carlawiowa.com for a free consultation. That's Carr with 2 R's, lawiowa.com.
At U.S. Cellular, we believe in having healthy relationships with our phones, so we can have better relationships with each other. Introducing Us Mode, a way to set your phone for less distraction and deeper connection. So dinner can sound less like this and more like this.
What'd you learn today?
The sauropod was the tallest dinosaur ever.
Oh my goodness.
Visit U.S. Cellular in-store or online, and we'll help set your phone to Us Mode, even if you're not a customer. U.S. Cellular, the 5G network built for us. See uscellular.com for details.
If you or someone you know is having thoughts of suicide, experiencing a mental health or substance use crisis, 988 provides a direct connection to free, confidential, and compassionate support. You'll be quickly connected to trained crisis counselors who will listen to your concerns and connect you to additional resources if needed. There is hope. For 24/7 support, call or text 988 or chat 988lifeline.org. A message from Iowa HHS.
You might think Iowa grows corn, but the truth is, corn grows Iowa. Corn can even fuel your drive to watch the Hawkeyes play when you choose Unleaded 88. It's a fuel that's cheaper, cleaner, and greener. Plus, it's homegrown, making Unleaded 88 the clear choice at the pump and totally worth the hype. So as you head to cheer on the Hawkeyes this season, don't just fuel up. Pump it up with Unleaded 88. Find Unleaded 88 at a station near you. Go to iowacorn.org/88.
How do you become America's best-selling brand? Let's break it down. Innovative tech means smarter and safer driving. Intelligent all-wheel drive will keep you ready for anything. And built Ford tough trucks will always get the job done. Plus, come into your local Ford store today and get super low APR financing, big cash back, and great lease offers on Ford's full line of cars, trucks, and SUVs. That's Ford, and that's how you become America's best-selling brand. Sales claim based on calendar year sales.
Welcome back to Hawk Talk live from the Hyatt Regency here in Coralville in the beautiful Iowa River Landing. Some of the Christmas lights have been taken down. A lot of them are still up here on the strip and in the Iowa River Landing here in Coralville. We're in the Watermill Kitchen and Bar in the Iowa River Landing. It's a brand new menu, too, I might add, at the Hyatt Regency. They've got some exciting new locally inspired specialties like cornbread shortcake, harvest flatbread, and pork belly ragu. We're so excited to try these and pass them along to you and many other dishes throughout this season's Hawk Talk with Coach McCaffery. Come on out to the Hyatt Regency any night, but especially on Monday night when we're here for 90 minutes from 7 until 8:30 right after the Jan Jensen Hawk Talk show that starts at 6 o'clock, a great Monday night of Hawkeye basketball chatter. Coach McCaffery, we had one of your bright young future stars, current stars, with us here a little earlier in Cooper Koch. We were kiddingly talking about JR and Cooper's style of play. There are some similarities between those two.
Well, I mean, I recruited JR, so I could be an expert on that, and I would say they're different. But they're both really good. You know, Coop is smaller. JR grew up at a different time. When you were 6'11", you weren't really supposed to be a three-point shooter. But he always, JR always had skill for a big guy. He wasn't a low post. Mm-hmm. He could play down there, but he could handle it. And you know, he had skill. I mean, he was incredibly talented. And you know, Coop is a little bit smaller, but moves without the ball. I mean, phenomenal shooter, makes plays off the bounce, and he's just going to have a fabulous career. It's been unfortunate that he's had a couple injury situations that he's overcoming, but he's looking good now.
Well, both Cooper and JR looked good at the front of the press, whether it was yours or Dr. Tom's.
Yeah, their activity, but their athleticism for guys that are tall. You know, like I said, Coop flies around. You know, he's all over the place, both offensively and defensively. He's just going to keep getting better.
Fran, what I love about Coop, and it's his overall game, but it's just his overall attitude toward the game, the hustle into the game, hustle out of the game. You know, he's always got a smile on his face. He's always ready to go whenever you call his number. You got to be easy to coach a player like that.
Yeah, I know. It's not like I'm surprised. I mean, he started coming to our camp in second grade. Okay. So I've literally watched him grow up and know the character of this young guy. He's the guy you want in your locker room. He's the guy you want on your team. He plays multiple positions, incredibly versatile. He can score. You know, when you see his body change a little bit with more weightlifting, it's going to be scary how good he is.
He can shoot it, too.
Yeah, he really
got a little Doug McDermott, almost a little Larry Bird in him.
With unbelievable range. Yeah.
Coach, let's go back to, what are we at here? Email at hawktalk@hawkeyeradionetwork.com. Mike in Burlington, Fran, with the addition of Washington, USC, Oregon, and UCLA to the league, do you see significant differences other than geography in the style of play compared to the original quote-unquote Big Ten brand of basketball?
No, and that, to be honest with you, that's a fallacy. I mean, everybody in the league plays different, and it's been that way for a long time. It had the reputation for being a big, slow, physical league. Mm-hmm. Watch the teams play. Watch the games. People don't play slow and, you know, knock each other around. Yeah, okay, you know, Purdue had Edey, and they run a little bit more sets. You know, but, you know, and certain teams will run more sets than others. They'll run less. But, you know, play Michigan State, you know, they're going to run. You know, Michigan runs. Look at Wisconsin.
Indiana,
they're running.
Yeah.
Indiana. I mean, you know, Indiana, since I've been in the league, all the speed, you know, that Oladipo, and then, you know, right up through Xavier Johnson, and now the Rice kid. So this league, and I think understandably so, you look at 18 teams, some on the East Coast, some on the West Coast, some in the Midwest. It stands to reason that it would be that way.
Sure.
You know, and it's always going to be a function of what does your roster look like in every given year. Maybe you run less, maybe you run more sets, maybe you run more motion, maybe you push it on makes and misses. Maybe you try to keep the score low because that's your best chance to win. But everybody in this league plays differently. It is not, you know, nor should it be stereotyped in any way.
On that note, we go to Sam. Sam's from Keota, and this is for Fran and Bobby. In your opinion, what's the biggest surprise, good or bad, in college basketball so far this season? Coach?
I don't know if there's any surprise. I mean, it's you know, I probably the new world.
Yeah, the NIL transfer portal.
Yeah, the transfer portal, how it has, like, so if you're a fan of any given team or any given conference, in the past you kind of knew who had who back, who's got freshmen, how are they rated, and who's going to maybe make the biggest impact. But now you got teams with 8, 9 new guys. So you don't really. I guess that's probably a good question in that respect. You know, the biggest surprise is who shows up. Good luck predicting that,
Bobby. You didn't have to learn your teammates' names every year when you played the new roster.
Yeah, I mean, maybe somebody transferred from a junior college into the other team, but Fran's exactly right. Some of these teams, Illinois, I mean, I'm trying to get to know who those guys are, watching them close. Jakachunas, who is what, a freshman? Plays like a fifth-year NBA guy.
Well, I think he was a Pro A player. I'm not 100% sure on that. If he wasn't, he should have been.
Yeah.
In Europe. He's really good. You know, I would say he and Bryce Williams are the two guys that have impressed me the most. Maybe Danny Wolf.
Yeah. Yep.
You know, and Danny Wolf is new.
Yale kid.
You know, played at Yale. I mean, there's a reason why Yale beat Auburn in the NCAA tournament. You know, nobody saw that coming, but if you saw Danny Wolf play, all right, yeah, that's a possibility.
Wolf, I was so impressed with him, the way he could bring the ball down the floor.
He's a pro.
You know what the biggest change to me, I don't get nearly as many emails or letters in the mail. Please join my Recruiting Insight newsletter. Because
you could start one and be as good as any that are already out there.
Or have been.
Just make stuff up. Just make it up and try to sell it.
That's kind of been your personal opinion of that for 5 stars, 4 stars.
For many years. All right, you look at like Bob Gibbons.
Yeah, there were like 2 or 3
on the East Coast. Tommy Konchowski with Howard Garfinkel, and out here you had Van Coleman. You know, Van was, but then you had Clark Francis. You had a handful of guys
that worked it.
Well, they really worked at it. So every tournament that you went to, they were there, and they were there when it was dead for us. Mm-hmm. So they could go. So, like, you know, if one of those guys come to you and say, hey, I just saw this kid, he's really good. You listen to him.
Believe
yeah. Because most of those guys are pretty good at talent evaluation. You know, 5-star was that. You know, is he a 5-star? Is he a 4+? Is he a 3-? Now, they've also made mistakes. Mm-hmm. I'll never forget, you know, the day that Darren Queenan got a 2+, which meant that he could play at the Philadelphia College of Pharmacy. And he came, and I said, that news made my day. He comes to us and scores 2,700 points. And I wish I could tell you it was great coaching. Throw the ball to Darren.
Get it to him.
He averaged 30 his
Set a screen
year.
for Darren.
Yeah. Throw it. Darren, what are you passing for?
Shoot the ball.
Shoot it.
So on that, what is your most unique recruiting story? What's your favorite story about recruiting?
Well, I'm not going to mention names, but the funniest one was 2 parents were split on where their kid should go. And the dad was none too happy with the mom because she won, and they got divorced.
Over where the kid went?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
I've never.
He got rid of her. But she won.
She got to see a lot of
He went where she wanted him to go.
Okay, that is unique.
Yeah.
I've not heard a divorce.
So, Fran, having said that, are you out there looking at 10th graders anymore like used to?
Not quite the same, but, you know, we need to be aware of 8th, 9th, 10th graders in our state.
Okay.
And then, you know, in our wheelhouse. So, for example, if we have a connection with a particular AU program, like what is the 15U team doing? Like, who do they have?
Okay.
You know, you recruit 17U, but then 16U is next year, and then 15U is the year before that. So, yeah, we're on top of it, because now you get a lot of guys who you recruited who didn't come, and now they might want to transfer back.
Yeah, make a good point.
Because you haven't built a relationship. It used to be all about relationships. Now it's somewhat relationships, somewhat style of play, somewhat geography, somewhat quality of conference, relationship with the coach. But a lot of times it's just money.
To jump ahead to next week, will you look at players out in that California region while you're out there with the team?
No, we'll be locked in.
Yeah,
we're just going out there to
I'm looking for something
games.
to do, to go watch a game or something.
As told me earlier this year, the days of first question out of the mouth of the recruit is, can I see the Tippy Business School? or the School of Engineering or the Journalism School.
I mean, I can tell you that was a big thing. Like I remember we recruited Mike Gesell.
Yeah.
He had a 4. He did not have one B on his transcript. And he wanted to be an engineer, but then he was thinking maybe business. And he's actually shifted from engineering to because there's not a lot of engineering Division I players. It's a very difficult curriculum. If they make it through, the tremendous job opportunities. We have a fabulous School of Engineering here. And those folks were incredible in how they recruited Mike because academics was a big thing.
Sure.
And he was thinking about Stanford. So now you're like, okay, Stanford, Iowa, but you want to be an engineer? Let's look at the Tippie School of Business and our engineering college. I mean, you're not going to do a whole lot better.
For sure.
And he wanted to play in the Big Ten. He didn't want to play in the Pac-12. And he wanted to be closer to his family. He was very close with his family.
Good move.
Yeah.
Good job recruiting him.
Yeah, he was pretty good, wasn't he?
Oh, man, he was okay. He could get into any school he wanted to. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification before we take a break here. 10-second ID break on Hawk Talk with Coach McCaffery from the Iowa River Landing and the Hyatt Regency. You're listening to Hawk Talk. When we return to the Watermill Kitchen and Bar, we'll take more of your questions. We'll also have a U.S. Bank scoreboard update. That's next on Hawk Talk with Coach McCaffery from Learfield.
Midwest One believed in us and gave us the money to get started, and it was great.
We're talking with Jack Piper of Jimmy Jack's Rib Shack.
In 2005, they were there when we opened Jimmy Jack's Rib Shack. They've been there every step of the way with funding and great feedback on how to expand our brand. Midwest One Bank has been great, and with the recent uncertain times, we got through it, thanks to Midwest One Bank.
Midwest One Bank. Simply better banking. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hawk fans, stop in and visit the newly renovated guest rooms at Hyatt Regency Coralville Hotel and Conference Center, located in the heart of Iowa River Landing. Stay within walking distance of Extreme Arena, home of the Hawkeye volleyball team, as well as great restaurants, shopping, and scenic walking trails along the Iowa River. Hyatt Regency Coralville is also the home of Hawk Talk with Jan Jensen and Fran McCaffery. Come together at Hyatt Regency Coralville, where everything you need is right here.
At U.S. Bank, when they say they're in it with you, they mean it. Not just for the good stuff, the grand openings and celebrations, although those are pretty great, but for all the hard work it took to get there, the fine-tuning of goals, the managing of cash and workflows, and decision-making. They're in to help you through all of it, because together they're proving day in and day out that there is nothing as powerful as the power of us. Visit usbank.com to get started today. Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC, copyright 2024, U.S. Bank.
At U.S. Cellular, we believe in having healthy relationships with our phones so we can have better relationships with each other. Introducing Us Mode, a way to set your phone for less distraction and deeper connection. So dinner can sound less like this and more like this.
What'd you learn today?
The sauropod was the tallest dinosaur ever.
Oh my goodness.
Visit U.S. Cellular in-store or online, and we'll help set your phone to Us Mode, even if you're not a customer. U.S. Cellular, the 5G network built for us. See uscellular.com for details.
If you or someone you know is having thoughts of suicide, experiencing a mental health or substance use crisis, 988 provides the direct connection to free, confidential, and compassionate support. When you call, text, or chat 988, you'll be quickly connected to trained crisis counselors who will listen to your concerns, provide support, and connect you to additional resources if needed. There is hope. You are not alone. For 24/7 support, call or text 988 or chat 988lifeline.org. A message from Iowa HHS.
When you live in the Midwest, you're accustomed to leading the nation in certain things, from corn and pork production to eggs and soybeans. And now we're adding another product to that list, clean, renewable wind energy. By investing in wind turbines and partnering with area farmers and landowners, Mid-American Energy is harvesting wind power that's homegrown right in our very own backyard, which not only provides customers with low, stable energy rates, but also the support to make our Midwest communities safer and stronger.
And we're back on Hawk Talk with Coach McCaffery, live from the Hyatt Regency, sponsored by the Summit Agricultural Group, Summit Ag, is committed to Iowa and adding value to Iowa products. Corn, beef, hogs, ethanol. Go Hawks, courtesy of Summit Agricultural Group. They bring you Bobby Hansen's Keys to the Game, each pregame show this season on the Hawkeye Radio Network, where Hawkeye basketball is concerned. Let's go to the U.S. Bank scoreboard update. U.S. Bank, a proud supporter, long-time sponsor of Iowa Hawkeye basketball, U.S. Bank. There are a couple games in the Big Ten tonight. Wisconsin has just gone final. The Badgers defeated Rutgers on the road in Piscataway. 75-63 the final. Wisconsin 75, Rutgers 63 at the rack in Piscataway. Ohio State and Minnesota, they're playing at the Barn up in Minneapolis. The Buckeyes and the Gophers, that's coming up here in just a few minutes. Top 25 basketball tonight. 12th-ranked Houston is hosting TCU, and they just tipped off down in Houston. The Cougars lead the Horned Frogs 6-0 early on, just a couple minutes into that game. Houston 6 and TCU nothing. There was football tonight. In fact, it's still going on. The FCS national championship game down in Texas, down in Frisco, and North Dakota State has a 21-10 lead on Montana State. North Dakota State, the 2-seed, unbeaten Montana State at 14-0, trailing North Dakota 21-10. Cam Miller from up the road in Solon, I saw him run a quarterback draw, and he went 60 yards for a touchdown. Cam Miller leading North Dakota State right now to a 21-10 lead on Montana State with just under 5 minutes to play in the FCS National Championship game. That's our U.S. Bank scoreboard update, and we're going back to your questions on Twitter, on Facebook, on the U.S. Cellular text line, and our Hawkeye email address. That's ahead here on Hawk Talk with Coach McCaffery from the Hyatt Regency in the Iowa River Landing and Learfield.
Tournament Club of Iowa, designed by golf legend Arnold Palmer. TCI is his only signature course in the state. TCI is a public course offering a challenging yet enticing experience for golfers of all levels and is managed by Kaler Golf. Cap off your round with breathtaking views and a delicious meal at the TCI Bar and Grill. Looking for a unique setting for your wedding party or outing? Look no further than the newly renovated clubhouse at TCI. Visit tcofiowa.com to book your tee time today.
At U.S. Cellular, we believe in having healthy relationships with our phones so we can have better relationships with each other. Introducing Us Mode, a way to set your phone for less distraction and deeper connection. So dinner can sound less like this and more like this.
What'd you learn today?
The sauropod was the tallest dinosaur ever.
Oh my goodness.
Visit U.S. Cellular in-store or online, and we'll help set your phone to Us Mode, even if you're not a customer. U.S. Cellular, the 5G network built for us. See uscellular.com for details.
Hello, Iowa. Here's a promise. Wherever you are in this great state, University of Iowa Healthcare is here for you, even if you never walk through our doors. Educating, caring, leading research, sharing our expertise with all. Because we believe that UI Healthcare is here to make all of Iowa better. UI Healthcare, changing medicine, changing lives. Visit uihealthcare.org.
People are having a hard time containing their excitement about the new Holiday Scratch and Instaplay tickets from the Iowa Lottery.
Holiday tickets? I love these!
Especially when they find out you can win part of over $1 million in second chance cash prizes when you enter any holiday ticket in the Iowa Lottery's VIP Club.
$1 million? Woohoo!
Yes, woohoo indeed. Cash prizes are coming to town from the Iowa Lottery.
Woohoo!
See rules at ialottery.com/VIP.
Quinn Schulte, I play safety here at the University of Iowa. On the field, I stop the run, I make the tackle, and I get interceptions.
Rosmer to throw, has time. Yes, it's deflected, intercepted again by Quinn Schulte. He's running the other way at the 40-yard line. Hawks have another turnover. We're going to slam the lid, hopefully, down. Here's an interception. That'll do it. And it's Quinn Schulte. And down there, the Hawkeyes will have first and goal.
Off the field, I help my body's defense by choosing vaccines that are right for me. Ask your doctor or healthcare provider which vaccines are right for you.
A message from Iowa HHS.
You might think Iowa grows corn, but the truth is, corn grows Iowa. Corn can even fuel your drive to watch the Hawkeyes play when you choose Unleaded 88. It's a fuel that's cheaper, cleaner, and greener. Plus, it's homegrown, making Unleaded 88 the clear choice at the pump and totally worth the hype. So as you head to cheer on the Hawkeyes this season, don't just fuel up. Pump it up with Unleaded 88. Find Unleaded 88 at a station near you. Go to iowacorn.org/88.
We're back on Hawk Talk with Iowa basketball coach Fran McCaffery, live from the Watermill Kitchen and Bar in the Hyatt Regency in the beautiful Iowa River Landing. I wanted to mention this. Our next show is a week from tonight, but we will not be here. So for our regulars that usually find their way to the Hyatt Regency, we're not here next Monday night. We will have a show live from Los Angeles due to travel commitments. The Hawks spend a few days out in L.A. Next week, UCLA and Southern Cal. So we will be doing a show Monday night from Los Angeles as the Hawks play USC on Tuesday night. And we'll talk more about that as the week progresses. Right now, the focus is on Nebraska. So no show here at the Hyatt next Monday, but there will be a show from 7 until 8:30 with Bobby and I and Coach McCaffery. Time now for our Midwest One Stat of the Week as the presenting sponsor of Hawkeye men's basketball. Midwest One Bank is a proud partner of doers and entrepreneurs. Our teams are ready to help you reach your business goals. It's empowered money management. It's Midwest One Bank, member FDIC. Our Midwest One Stat of the Week, Coach, is the 45 field goals that the Hawks drained against New Hampshire last week. Your final non-conference game of the season. That's a lot of points.
Yeah, I mean, we were cooking that night. Again, New Hampshire's, they got a really good coach. He's new. He's trying to put it together. You get a mid-major job now. You got 8, 9, 10 new guys. He's playing freshmen. I think he's got a good freshman class. And you just got to wait. You got to wait till they develop. So he'll get it going. But we started early in that game, hitting everything, and just kept going.
That's our Midwest One Bank Stat of the Week. 45 field goals by the Hawkeyes against the University of New Hampshire. Iowa 10-4 hosting Nebraska tomorrow night. Let's hope there's 45 field goals there tomorrow night when Fred Hoiberg's tough defending Nebraska team invades Carver Hawkeye Arena. 6 o'clock for the pregame show, 7 o'clock for the tip here on the Hawkeye Radio Network. Coach, let's go back to, let's see, we got Toby is on Twitter. Hi, Fran. And Toby, by the way, is in Omaha. Hi, Coach. I grew up in Pella, live in Omaha now, but still bleed black and gold. I'm tired of hearing about Bryce Williams out here in Husker country. Well, Toby, he's pretty good. He says, I realize he's talented, but what's the best way to shut him down or at least slow him down offensively?
The thing about Bryce that has impressed me is he plays at his pace. You can't speed him up. He's a 3-level scorer. He's got great size. I think Fred uses him well. He'll curl him. He'll bring him off Detroit action. He'll put him on top, give him the ball, ISO him. He'll post him up. He lets him go in transition. And he makes good decisions typically when he shoots, when he gives it up. Has an incredibly mature game. And, there's a reason why he's, hearing about Bryce.
Yeah.
Because he is really not only put up incredible numbers, but he's doing it on a consistent basis.
And he got to the free throw line the other night 12 times.
Well, kind of like Tanji, right? I mean, Tanji had shot 100 free throws before our game, 94 for 100. And Bryce is up near that as well. He's in the leaders. He's 85, 90, something in there.
Bryce Williams with 16 points, 8 rebounds against UCLA the other night. Bobby, who was the toughest guy offensively you had to guard in the NBA? Who always gave you?
Well, that's easy.
Well,
I used to guard him every day in practice.
Oh.
Michael, the final year. And I was an old man.
Okay, in competition.
Okay, well, him too when I was in Utah.
Magic
was, tough but not quick. He's not going to blow by you. The quick guys give me problems where you had to funnel them to the side.
They give everybody problems.
Yeah.
Not just you.
Give them an extra step. Back then you could wrestle them a little bit too.
Yeah, you could hand check back in those days.
White Lightning here would agree with you, Bobby.
Yeah,
I remember
the forearm shiver.
Now they have freedom of movement. They didn't have freedom of movement in those days, Bobby.
Nor did they with the coaches. They'd come off the. If you didn't
let
stop
the guy
that
move, you got waved.
You used to have to check them. Clyde Drexler would come down the middle of the lane. You used to have to give him a forearm right in the chest.
Yeah.
Clyde's like, why are you hitting me,
You might get fined if you didn't.
By the coach.
We were at Michigan State one night. Magic was there for another event, and comes up behind Bobby. He gets him in a headlock. He looks at me. He says, dirtiest, rottenest defending player in the NBA I've ever played against. He said he'd always grab my shorts when I ran by him or got around him. And Bobby said, Magic, I didn't last 9 years in this league because
I was stupid.
Well, I had Mark Eaton in the back there. So,
hey, dude, you're in the Hall of Fame. When you guard a Hall of Famer, you got to do a little bit different.
You got to do what you got to do. But he got me back one time. Now he told me. He said, I owe you one. And I said, what? Bam! Hit me right in the stomach with an elbow, and I lost my mind. Yeah. So Hugh Hollins is like, go sit down. You guys are up by 25, so I don't want to throw you out, and then you can't play Game 7.
Yeah, no, we don't want to do that.
No,
sure. But we get to Game 7, you had no chance.
One more break to work in here. We'll come back and wrap it up for this week's Hawk Talk with Coach McCaffery from the Hyatt Regency in Learfield.
Midwest One believed in us and gave us the money to get started, and it was great.
We're talking with Jack Piper of Jimmy Jack's Rib Shack.
In 2005, they were there when we opened Jimmy Jack's Rib Shack. They've been there every step of the way with funding and great feedback on how to expand our brand. Midwest One Bank has been great, and with the recent uncertain times, we got through it, thanks to Midwest One Bank.
Midwest One Bank. Simply better banking. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Cancer doesn't care. It doesn't care what you look like, how old you are, what you do, or where you live. We do. University of Iowa Healthcare is doing more to beat cancer than anyone in the state. From second opinions to life-saving treatments that happen here first. We lead the way in research, training, and care because we believe that UI Healthcare is here to make all of Iowa better. UI Healthcare, changing medicine, changing lives. Visit uihealthcare.org.
At US Cellular, we believe in having healthy relationships with our phones so we can have better relationships with each other. Introducing Us Mode, a way to set your phone for less distraction and deeper connection. So dinner can sound less like this and more like this.
What'd you learn today?
The sauropod was the tallest dinosaur ever.
Oh my goodness.
Visit US Cellular in-store or online and we'll help set your phone to Us Mode, even if you're not a customer. US Cellular, the 5G network built for us. See uscellular.com for details.
You might think Iowa grows corn, but the truth is, corn grows Iowa. Corn can even fuel your drive to watch the Hawkeyes play when you choose Unleaded 88. It's a fuel that's cheaper, cleaner, and greener. Plus, it's homegrown, making Unleaded 88 the clear choice at the pump and totally worth the hype. So as you head to cheer on the Hawkeyes this season, don't just fuel up. Pump it up with Unleaded 88. Find Unleaded 88 at a station near you. Go to iowacorn.org/88.
At MidAmerican Energy, our 1.6 million customers depend on our energy 24/7. That's why we work 24/7 to deliver the safe, reliable energy you need. To keep our 99.9% reliability record, we're enhancing our technology, improving resiliency, and investing in critical infrastructure. We're generating power from all available resources to cover any increases in demand. And we're innovating to ensure you always have the energy you need. MidAmerican Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Time now for the Wellmark Blue Cross and Blue Shield Health Coverage Report. When you enroll in a Wellmark individual or family health plan, you get an HMO network that includes over 32,000 providers. Plus, you get support from a company that's been serving Iowans for 85 years. Now, those are some impressive numbers, and that's health coverage you can feel confident in. Find the right plan for you at wellmark.com/covered. Enrollment ends January 15th.
Couple minutes left on Hawk Talk with Iowa basketball coach Fran McCaffery. Again, join us tomorrow night, 6 o'clock for the pregame show and 7 o'clock for the tip-off. The Hawks and the Huskers, Iowa 10-4, 1-2 in the conference. Nebraska comes in 12 victories, 2 defeats. 2-1 in the Big Ten. Coach, they beat Indiana at home. They beat UCLA at home, lost at Michigan State. They played some awfully good basketball in all three of those games. A couple keys for tomorrow night early.
Yeah, they won that tournament in Hawaii, too. They won three games in 3 days.
Rainbow Classic.
That tells you, you win 3 games in 3 days. That tells you how good you are. No, it's a veteran group that really defends. They got a lot of weapons. They're really big. We've got to rebound. We've got to move the ball. Be intelligent, because they're going to try to keep you to one side. And we've got to keep running.
It's certainly been an intelligent season. The Hawks lead the Big Ten in assists, 20 a game. That's third in the NCAA. And assist-to-turnover ratio is fourth in college basketball. You've had 20-plus assists in 6 games. That's really important tomorrow night.
Well, last year when we beat them here, we had 30 assists on 35 field goals. So it'd be nice if we could do that again.
Yeah, that's an amazing stat right there. Say that again. 30 assists on 35 field goals. Yeah, that might be a record.
Now, you got to make them, but guys were creating shot opportunities for their teammates and not putting their head down, driving into packs of people. I mean, if you do that against them, it'd be a long night.
Practice been good, Fran?
Practice been great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we were off Saturday. Sunday they were great. Today they were great. Be ready for tomorrow.
Isn't it? Kids are kids. They just want to get back out there, play the next game. Yeah, they're upset about getting beat on the road, but in this league, that can happen.
It can happen, and the key is to learn from it, not dwell on it, and be professional in your approach as to what you do the next day in practice and what you can do to improve individually and then what we can do to improve collectively. And that's, again, like I said, it's all about being professional in how you take care of your business.
You have Seydou Traoré back healthy. How important is that going forward?
Well, we need him, especially with Coop out. So we need Seydou. He just needs more time. He's still learning what we're doing because remember, not only is he new, he missed a bunch of games with his injury.
Yes.
So he just needs minutes on the floor. When that happens, he'll be fine.
Coach, another one of those freshmen you and I have talked about, Chris Taggio. It's like when that guy, he's got some talent when he gets it figured out.
He's really talented, and most importantly, he's phenomenally competitive. And he has an incredible want to. He wants to be good. He wants to be a good teammate. He wants to win. Just a delightful young guy. And he's tough. Once he figures it out, it's scary how good he's going to be.
Coach, thanks for your time tonight. As always, we'll do the show next week from L.A., and we'll see you tomorrow night.
Look forward to it, guys. Thanks, you.
Coach.
Coach McCaffery, thank you, Bobby Hansen, for your input as well. Tonight, I'm Gary Dolphin. We're at the Hyatt Regency. We'll bringing you Hawk Talk, 90 minutes of Iowa basketball chatter each and every week from the Watermill Kitchen and Bar on the Iowa River Landing. It's got a brand new menu. They have some exciting new locally inspired specialties. How about cornbread shortcake, harvest flatbread, and pork belly ragu? Their menu's full of wintertime specials. We're so excited to try these and many other dishes throughout this season's show. So come on out each and every Monday night here on Hawk Talk with Coach McCaffery. Thank you so much for your attendance tonight on the Hawkeye Radio Network. We'll talk tomorrow night from Carver Hawkeye Arena, 6 o'clock for the pregame show and 7 o'clock for the tip. The Hawks and the Huskers from Carver. Good night, everybody.
Live from the Watermill Kitchen and Bar inside the Hyatt Regency in Coralville. This has been Hawk Talk with Fran McCaffery. Brought to you by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Hy-Vee. Score big savings with a Hy-Vee Perks membership. Iowa Corn. You might think Iowa just grows corn, but the truth is corn grows Iowa. Brought to you by Iowa's corn farmers of the Iowa Corn Growers Association and the Iowa Corn Promotion Board. Mid-American Energy. Look up, look out for overhead power lines. Visit MidAmericanEnergy.com for electrical safety tips. Midwest One Bank is the presenting sponsor of Hawkeye men's basketball. Visit MidwestOne.bank for empowered money management. Member FDIC. Wimmer's Meats, the official hot dog of the Hawkeyes. Lennox and your local Lennox home comfort specialist. Made right here in Iowa since 1895. By your local Ford dealers. Iowa Lottery. Be a VIP with the Iowa Lottery. Visit ialottery.com for details. University of Iowa Healthcare. Changing medicine, changing lives. And by U.S. Cellular, the official wireless partner of the Iowa Hawkeyes. U.S. Cellular, built for us. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation on the Hawkeye Sports Network.